The question of whether eating meat shortens your lifespan is one that has intrigued scientists, nutritionists, and the general public alike for decades. It's a topic that sits at the intersection of health, culture, ethics, and personal choice. As we dive into the evidence and explore the science, history, and nuance behind our dietary habits, it becomes clear that the answer is far from simple. The relationship between meat consumption and longevity is influenced by a mosaic of factors, ranging from the type of meat consumed to how it's prepared, the overall dietary pattern, genetics, lifestyle, and even socio-economic status. To begin, let's consider what we mean by meat. Meat can refer to a wide variety of foods, including red meats like beef, pork, and lamb, white meats such as chicken and turkey, processed meats like bacon, sausages, and deli meats, and even game meats like venison. Each of these comes with its own nutritional profile, health implications, and cultural significance. Historically, meat has been a central part of the human diet. Archaeological evidence suggests that our ancestors began incorporating meat into their diets millions of years ago, which some experts believe played a pivotal role in the development of our brains and overall physiology. Meat is an excellent source of complete protein, essential amino acids, iron, zinc, and vitamin B12, nutrients that can be more challenging to obtain from plant-based sources alone. However, as societies have evolved and meat has become more readily available, particularly in high-income countries, consumption patterns have shifted dramatically. Today, the average person in developed nations consumes far more meat than previous generations. This change has prompted scientists to examine whether these increased levels of meat consumption are beneficial or detrimental to health and longevity. A large body of research has explored the link between meat consumption and various health outcomes, including heart disease, cancer, diabetes, and ultimately, mortality. One of the most influential studies in this area is the ongoing Harvard Nurses Health Study and Health Professionals Follow-up Study, which have tracked the diets and health outcomes of hundreds of thousands of individuals over several decades. These studies have found that high consumption of red and especially processed meats is consistently associated with a higher risk of chronic diseases and premature death. For example, eating one serving of processed meat per day, such as a hot dog or 2 slices of bacon, has been linked to a roughly 20% increased risk of dying early compared to those who rarely eat these foods. Red meat, particularly when eaten in large quantities, has been associated with increased risks of heart disease, certain cancers, especially colorectal cancer, type 2 diabetes, and stroke. The mechanisms behind these associations are complex. Processed meats often contain high levels of sodium, nitrates, and other preservatives, which have been shown to contribute to inflammation, oxidative stress, and damage to blood vessels. Cooking meat at high temperatures, such as grilling or frying, can produce compounds like heterocyclic amines and polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, which have been linked to cancer in animal models. Red meats are also high in saturated fat, which can raise cholesterol levels and promote the buildup of plaque in arteries. But the story doesn't end there. Not all meat is created equal, and not all studies agree on the magnitude of the risks. When it comes to unprocessed white meats like chicken and turkey, the evidence is much less clear. Many studies find neutral or even slightly protective effects for moderate poultry consumption. Similarly, fish and seafood, which are technically meats, are consistently associated with positive health outcomes, likely due to their high levels of omega-3 fatty acids. Another important factor is what meat is replacing in the diet. When people swap red or processed meats for plant-based proteins like beans, lentils, nuts, and whole grains, studies show a reduction in disease risk and an extension of lifespan. However, replacing meat with highly processed carbohydrates or sugars may not confer any benefit and could even be harmful. It's also crucial to recognize that populations around the world exhibit a wide range of dietary patterns and life expectancies. Some of the world's longest-lived communities, such as those in the so-called blue zones of Okinawa, Sardinia, and Costa Rica, eat diets that are predominantly plant-based, with only small amounts of meat consumed on special occasions. Yet there are also populations, such as certain indigenous groups and pastoral societies, who have traditionally consumed significant amounts of animal products and still enjoy good health and longevity. This suggests that the context of the whole diet, lifestyle, genetic factors, and environmental influences all play important roles. Modern research continues to refine our understanding. A 2019 review by the Global Burden of Disease study suggested that diets high in red and processed meats contribute to increased risks of death from heart disease, cancer, and diabetes. Conversely, diets rich in fruits, vegetables, whole grains, nuts, and legumes are associated with longer lifespans and reduced disease risks. Yet, some experts caution against drawing overly simplistic conclusions. For one, many studies rely on observational data, which can reveal associations but cannot prove causation. People who eat a lot of processed meat may also be more likely to smoke, exercise less, or have other lifestyle factors that contribute to poorer health. While researchers attempt to adjust for these variables, it's impossible to control for every possible confounding factor. Additionally, the quality and source of meat matter. Grass-fed, pasture-raised, or wild-caught meats tend to have different nutrient profiles compared to conventionally raised, grain-fed, or heavily processed products. For example, wild game and grass-fed beef typically contain lower levels of saturated fat and higher levels of omega-3 fatty acids. So, what does this mean for the average person trying to make healthy choices? The evidence suggests a few key takeaways. First, moderation is crucial. Occasional consumption of lean, unprocessed meats, particularly poultry and seafood, does not appear to pose significant health risks for most people and can be part of a balanced diet. However, regular consumption of large amounts of red and especially processed meats is linked to increased health risks and may shorten lifespan. Second, the overall pattern of the diet matters more than any single food. Diets high in plant-based foods, vegetables, fruits, whole grains, nuts, and legumes consistently support better health and longevity. When meat is consumed, choosing lean cuts, avoiding processing, and preparing meat with healthier cooking methods, such as baking, steaming, or stewing, can help minimize risks. Third, consider the broader lifestyle picture. Physical activity, maintaining a healthy weight, not smoking, managing stress, and getting adequate sleep are all powerful determinants of health and longevity. In many studies, the negative effects of meat consumption are magnified in people with other unhealthy habits, while those who follow overall healthy lifestyles may experience less risk. Finally, personal factors such as genetics, age, gender, and existing health conditions play a role in how our bodies respond to different foods. Some people may thrive on a vegetarian or vegan diet, while others may feel better and function optimally with moderate amounts of animal protein. It's also important to recognize that dietary choices are deeply personal and often shaped by culture, tradition, accessibility, and economics. For some, reducing or eliminating meat may be a straightforward decision. For others, it may be challenging or even impractical. Fortunately, there is a wide range of approaches to healthy eating, and small, sustainable changes, such as cutting back on processed meats, increasing plant-based foods, and being mindful of portion sizes, can have meaningful benefits over time. In conclusion, does eating meat shorten your lifespan? The best available evidence suggests that high and frequent consumption of red and processed meats is associated with increased health risks and may contribute to a shorter lifespan. However, occasional, moderate intake of unprocessed meats, especially poultry and seafood, does not carry the same level of risk and can fit within a healthy dietary pattern. Ultimately, the key to longevity and well-being lies not in the exclusion or inclusion of any one food, but in the overall quality and balance of your diet, paired with healthy lifestyle choices. As research continues to evolve, staying informed and making mindful, individualized choices remains the best path forward for lasting health and vitality.